The Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, has told the COP29 climate conference that he is committed to what he called an ambitious climate goal for the UK, involving a reduction in emissions by 81% on the 1990 levels by 2035. Earlier, the president of the host country, Azerbaijan, told the conference that oil, gas and other natural resources were a gift of God and that countries should not be blamed for having them. From there, here's our political correspondent, Alex Forsyth.
At this climate gathering, the messages are everywhere you look. Warnings about global consequences without action. The UK is keen to make its presence felt. Keir Starmer is one of the world leaders who has turned up, wanting to show he's serious when it comes to climate change. He announced ambitious new targets to cut emissions and claimed tackling this issue could bring opportunity.
It's very important for the United Kingdom to show leadership on the climate challenge. It's a very important challenge of our time. It's also, I've long believed, the single biggest opportunity for the next generation of jobs.
You don't have to look far to see why there's concern, from the recent devastation in Valencia to floods in Sudan, fears about the impact of extreme weather, and for some, the promises made simply aren't enough.
The misplaced idea that their country somehow will be immune. The fallacy that their short-term interests are worth the destruction on their doorstep and that they will escape without blame.
These summits are all about getting international agreement, and they often result in high-level targets or ambitious goals. But speak to many people here and they will tell you what really matters isn't setting the targets, it's meeting them. And there are plenty who think that's become harder with Donald Trump, a known climate change skeptic, headed to the White House.
Keir Starmer has repeatedly refused to be drawn on the incoming president's views on climate change, preferring instead to set out his own.
There is no national security, there is no economic security, there is no global security without climate security.
You've set out this ambitious target on emissions, but you've not really set out how you're going to get there. What is this going to mean?
What we're not going to do is start telling people how to live their lives. We're not going to start dictating to people what they do, but we are going to be clear that that involves hitting the Clean Power 2030 mission that we've set out, one of the 5 big projects of government.
One man who knows about negotiating over climate change is this former president of the COP Climate Conference.
I think you have to bring people with you, and certainly as a Conservative I believe in choice, and people should get to decide. So if you want people to drive electric vehicles, if you want them to have heat pumps, you need to provide those incentives to them. I think it has to be ambitious but also deliverable.
But here's just one sign of the challenge. The man who greeted Keir Starmer at this summit, Azerbaijan's president, used his speech to defend his country's use of oil and gas, calling it a gift of God. So plenty of conversations here, perhaps less consensus. Alex Forsyth, BBC News, Baku.